Got Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. You're also part of that promotion.
Yeah, that's a tremendous fight. I think the fight is much better than what some of the people think it's going to be. I think the fight will end in a knockout. Manny, can't say enough about him. Always comes in shape. But I think that he really wants to prove something with this fight against Keith. And, you know, we've seen Keith in this fight doing some very good promoting, doing a lot of trash talking. So we know that Keith's always in great shape, and it's going to be a great fight.
Keith is 10 years younger, but the odds makers are giving Manny a lot of respect. Keith's a small favorite. I think it's minus 135 last time I looked. I mean, is this a fight that could go either way, or I know you've been really behind Manny in this fight too, thinking he has a really good shot.
It's a 50-50 fight. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Both guys have the same chances. If Manny's able to establish something early on, I think it's going to present some problems for Keith, and vice versa.
Because Manny looks a little bit, not that he wasn't motivated before, but he is a small underdog. Like, people are doubting him, and he seems like he really likes that type of pressure and motivation.
He's extra motivated because, again, you know, we've seen Keith. Keith has said that he's going to put an end to his career, so we're going to see. We're going to see what's happening.
Real quick, you made a posting about Thurman, Keith one-time Thurman. He's not too far from here in State Creek, man. Go ahead and let's catch it on video. What do you have to say in regards to his fight with Pacquiao? And what do you look forward to competing against him?
Man, listen, I've been knowing Keith for a long time, since amateur days. I don't wish him nothing but the best. You know, I hope he go out there, do his thing, take care of Pacquiao, get the victory, and move on with his career to bigger and bigger.
What about what now?
Pacquiao and Thurman.
That's a good fight. I don't know how that's going to turn out. You got two fighters that are capable of beating anybody in the world on any given day. So it's going to be about who's there really. I mean, one time was a very good young prospect. One time was a very good young prospect. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Pacquiao can beat anybody on any given day. We know Pacquiao beyond his prime. You know, one time is still in his prime. So if one time can take Pacquiao's punch, then one time should be able to win the fight. But one time can't take Pacquiao's punch, one time is in trouble. And that's why I like the fight.
The Pacquiao-Thurman fight. To you, what's like the question about it?
Can Thurman take Pacquiao punch?
Yeah? You think that's it?
Can head and body. Can he take Pacquiao punch? Now, if he can take Pacquiao punch, and he punch hard enough to get Pacquiao out, we know that. And we will find a little bit about his boxing skills too, because if he can't box, he can't keep Pacquiao off. You feel me?
Yeah.
He showed good skills against Thurman, against Porter, but they kind of fought the same fight. Pacquiao's a different than that.
But Thurman was out for 2 years. He came back. He was hurt by Josecito Lopez. Did you draw anything from that, or is that just rust because he'd been out of the ring so long?
2 years off is hard to draw anything from it, but now don't get it wrong.
Still got hurt.
Josecito Lopez ain't no ball either. You understand?
Yeah.
So don't get it twisted. And he didn't get hurt by just no other fighter. You gotta have your game right when you fight Josecito Lopez, because he ain't no play. He ain't no play either. So it's like, yeah, it happened. He ain't been out two years, and yeah, that makes you say, well, wow, if he can hurt him, Pacquiao should be able to kill him. And not so fast. That was his first fight back. This will be the second. Those are two different type of opponents, with a whole lot more to gain and a whole lot more to lose. Lopez had nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Pacquiao does. He has a name, he has a legacy.
That's an interesting fight. I think Manny has plenty left in him. He's still at the highest level in boxing, still a world champion. But it's not an easy fight for him either. I mean, Thurman is very strong. He's hungry. I'm sure he's very hungry and motivated for this fight. I believe he's probably trained better than ever. Even though he had a long layoff earlier and he had the comeback fight against Josecito, maybe didn't perform to his best abilities. But for this fight, I think he's in better shape now after having that, shaking off that rust from the layoff. So that makes it a dangerous fight for Manny, because Thurman is strong and hungry, and he can box. He can also move around. He's not just a brawler. He can move around and make it awkward and difficult for Manny. I still think Manny has more, and I think Manny should win. I think Manny has
that was just
enough.
Something to win it.
Well, I think Manny has the footwork and the hand speed, and he punches in combinations that come from different angles. So I think that's kind of the way to win. Just kind of like jump in and out with quick combinations, jump out. I think that should win, but it is risky. I mean, a punch could also turn it around, and Thurman does have that power to turn it around. He does have that, knockout power, and that could be a punch that lands and changes things. So I think it's a very good fight. I think it's almost like a 50-50 fight.
50-50.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
Wow. It would be powerful though if Manny took that.
If Manny wins this, I mean, he's just beating guys almost half his age, or I don't know how, maybe 10 years younger or whatever it is.
Is this somewhere that you want to see yourself also? Because some guys they're done. They want to retire like at, let's say, like 38, 39. Like, would you like to see yourself with this?
I have never thought I'd be boxing, for X amount of years. Like I never had that in mind. Earlier, I had said, I'd probably retire on age 30, 32. But things are going well, and I was gone for that 2.5 year period, so I got more to give, and I'm not done. There's much more I want to accomplish. If I had thought I'd be wrapping things up around this age, things have changed, and I am not done at all. I got plenty more years to go.
Well, I mean, and Manny's such a prime example.
But Manny is one of few examples that can do that.
Yeah.
Not many fighters can keep performing at this level for as many years as he has. There's other fighters who continue fighting, after their prime, and continue fighting for, a few years after, but not at that level. They become opponents or stepping stones, and
Most definitely, yeah.
They become just another name. And Manny's not just another. He's still a champion. He's still a championship level fighter at the greatest. So I mean, not many can do that. I mean, anybody else that was around Manny's, generation is already retired. He's the only one that still do it, and like I said, at the highest level.
Do you
very impressive.
Do you believe your lifestyle has a lot to do with that?
I think.
Like the longevity of a career for a boxer?
Not just your lifestyle, but your fighting style too. Even though Manny was an action-packed fighter, he was always a lot better than his opponents, and he was able to, do it convincingly. Other fighters get knocked out multiple times, and then they start getting hurt. He was knocked out once, by Marquez, but that was just one fight. It was one punch, so he didn't sustain that much damage in that fight, as to where other fighters take more beatings during their fights, and they go to war more, and it takes more out of your body, out of your career. Manny, lifestyle, I don't know what his lifestyle is like, but if he takes care of himself, I mean,
basically healthy.
I assume he is.
Yeah, of course.
And he's able to do it.
Who you picking, Pacquiao or Thurman? I don't really care who's on. Pacquiao down for both of them. Pacquiao win, that'd be a lot better. Bigger fight for you? Bigger, and I say Pacquiao fearless. Pacquiao fight anybody.
You don't think that Quito fight you?
No.
Even after that fight, he won't fight you?
I think Pacquiao take that fight. If Pacquiao wins, you think he'll really fight you this time?
Yeah, Pacquiao. He'll fight anybody.
On the Manny Pacquiao and Thurman matchup.
1 second.
Yeah.
That's a good fight, man. You got an older Pacquiao who's gonna be there a little bit more than he normally is. And you got a Thurman who, he got a lot to prove. You got some people, speaking down on him, saying he's ducking Spence. I'm not gonna get involved in whether he's ducking him or not, but that's what a lot of people are saying. Didn't really look great his last fight, so he got a lot to fight for. And beating Manny Pacquiao, that's like winning 4 or 5 regular fights.
That's true.
Just from that win right there, having that name on your resume.
What do you think happens in Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao fight?
I really can't tell you, man, but I'm just telling you, man, maybe, I don't know, man.
50-50?
It may be 50-50 because I might go with Pacquiao on that one, or I could go with
Thurman?
Yeah, with that, I mean, you know, I'm just saying.
Like Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao fight. How do you see that?
I got
down?
Keith Thurman winning. I feel like Pacquiao kind of older now. He out of his prime. But Pacquiao looked good his last fight, so you never know.
And we're gonna go probably to the Pacquiao fight too. We're gonna be there.
Woo! Tell me about the Pacquiao fight, though, please.
Fight. You know, who's favorite? I think.
Who's favorite?
Yeah,
You know, I actually don't know.
It's a good fight, so it could
I
be
mean,
like, it's really
yeah.
good fight, so, yeah.
Who do you have?
You know, it's a good fight and everything, but I think Thurman.
You think Thurman?
Yeah, I think Thurman's gonna win. Yeah.
Wow.
He's stronger. You know, Pacquiao's he's getting older, and then also his confidence. I think is not the same. You know, before he got knocked out by Marquez, he used to fight like with not being scared. Like, you know, he'll go out there and wild and everything.
Yeah.
And now since he got knocked out, he's more cautious. He don't jump in as much, and
You feel he's a little more reserved.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think he's been the same since. He's still good and everything, but it's not the same as like when he was before he got knocked out.
Do you see it going by decision, or do you think Thurman's gonna actually, like, maybe potentially knock him out? Like, what do you think is going to happen? How do you believe that Thurman will attain this victory?
You know, Thurman's really strong, so I think he does land a good punch. He could knock him out, but you know, Pacquiao, he's able to take a good punch. You know,
He is.
Yeah, he is Marquez. He just caught him right on the button, but you know, I think he's able to take good punches. So I think he's gonna go decision.
Go to decision?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao. They're facing each other in Vegas. Do you have a pick in that?
I hope
fight?
Manny Pacquiao wins. I don't like Keith Thurman. I don't like the kind of fighter he is. I respect all fighters, I guess. I don't think he's a true champion. He took time off and he did this and did that, and he has a big mouth. Like, he talks a lot. Yes, he backs it up sometimes, but I don't know. I just think he has to. He's always been that way, by the way. I knew him in the amateurs. You know what I mean? So he has to be humbled. You know what I mean? He got to humble himself down a little bit.
All right, so yeah, I heard about it as well. Thurman against Pacquiao and Errol Spence against Porter. So Thurman, Pacquiao. I mean, I think that's the best fight that Pacquiao could have chosen. Because, I mean, come on, if he would have fought Errol Spence, it would have been a difficult fight. So that was thumbs up for Pacquiao and his team for not taking that fight. I mean, I just feel like, that would be a little bit, whatever. So, Thurman, that's a really good fight. I like that fight because of the styles that they both bring in. Manny Pacquiao, again, I think age is just a number for him. He's shown that, coming back in this last, performance against a young fighter, as it was, what's the name, Adrian Broner.
Oh.
We saw what he did to him, a young fighter, that flashy fighter. But Thurman is just a different animal, I think. Thurman, I mean, let's just say this: Thurman does throw. Thurman does, go out there and fight, And I am talking shit because Adrian Broner did and doesn't. He hasn't in like his last 3 fights. I think he just doesn't throw, man. The guy's like, gun shy for some reason. He's flashy and stuff, but he just doesn't throw. Whatever. Thurman it's going to be a difficult fight, more of a difficult fight for Pacquiao. But then again, it surprises me to see Pacquiao every fight, at this time and age of him, because he shows something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen it all, throughout his career, and he could do it all. But for instance, this last fight, I like the pressure that he put against a younger fighter, against AB. That left was there, so great. The combinations, always the movement. He doesn't lose. He's not losing his legs. So again, the breakdown is, I feel that Thurman definitely feel that he should win the fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if Manny Pacquiao, surprises with just the boxing skills that he holds.
So is Pacquiao considered the underdog because of his age, would you say? Do a lot of people, they put that into factor?
Yeah, a lot of people take that into factor, no doubt. I mean, especially against a Thurman that hasn't lost. He's undefeated.
So that would be more or less the reason why he's considered the underdog. Okay, 'cause he's going up against
still, I mean, he is going up against a legend. You know, that I myself personally a big fan and put him up. You know, up in the Ali, Frazier, like the top legend fighters, because he is that living legend. You know, he is still fighting Manny Pacquiao to do 106 to super welterweight and stuff like that, bro. Like that's unheard of.
So right now you're kind of maybe 50-50 because it's
right now. No. The way I'm explaining it is just I'm telling people how even of a matchup is.
Yeah, no,
even with the number, with
exactly.
Pacquiao being older, because Thurman is vulnerable. He is that type of fighter that gets those shots. He got hit and he almost got knocked out by Josecito Lopez. So what does that let you know? That he's vulnerable to a left hand. In that case, it was a right hand. But I'm saying to punches that eventually can knock him out. You know what I'm saying? We all are. This is the business of hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's boxing. This is a beautiful sport that anything can happen. So again, I just feel it's an even matchup, but I'm leaning towards Thurman.
Pacquiao Thurman's a good fight because Keith looked like he was shaking off some rust in the Josecito Lopez fight. Pacquiao looked good against Broner. It's kind of a good fight. I feel like Keith's going to bring a little bit more to the table now that he shook off the rust. And then of course you got to bring more to the table to beat the Pacquiao and beat Broner. So I think it's an evenly matched fight. It's a good fight.
Freddie, and if it's the Keith Thurman fight that comes off, how's that play out?
It's okay. I mean, it's a winnable fight, I feel. But if that comes off, but Manny's in the game to fight Mayweather one more time.
Okay. What about Keith's movement, Freddie? What about Keith's movement? If Keith's using a lot of lateral movement, will that be tough for Manny to get him in range and do what he's got to do?
Not every type of Manny that showed up in the last fight does jump. When Manny's aggressive like that, it's really, really good. I love when he's aggressive like that. I think he's my favorite fighter when he does that. But when he holds back and tries to counter punch too much, I don't like that so much.
So you'd want him aggressive against Keith?
Of course.
In a couple of weeks, we see Keith Thurman fight Manny Pacquiao. How does that fight play out for you, and who wins that fight?
I'm a fan of both. But something about Thurman that would scare me, if I was Pacquiao. I think he's such a good fighter. He hits so hard. So, but the Pacquiao team are clever. Freddie Roach is clever. Don't think they'll take fights that they don't need to take. But I think Thurman beats him.
Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. That's a great matchup. What do you think about Manny Pacquiao at 40 years old?
Manny Pacquiao, as you said, is 40 years old. And when you get to that age, you're not the same fighter as you were when you were in your 30s, in early 30s, middle 30s. Pacquiao, he fought so many fights for us. He's always been a very gutty guy, but he's not the biggest guy in the world. And I think Thurman is going to benefit from the fight that he had. He was off 2 years. He didn't look too good with Lopez, but I think he's much better than that. And if Thurman fights to the way he had been, then I don't think Pacquiao would have much of a chance. But we don't know. We don't know if Thurman can ever recapture what he had before the 2-year layoff.
Hall of Famer Al Bernstein. Al, how do you see Pacquiao Thurman playing out?
If we had said that this fight was going to be held a couple of years ago, I think people would have thought that, Keith Thurman was going to be too much for Manny Pacquiao, and it wasn't even a fight. Now, because Thurman has, had his breaks from boxing for his injury and has not been a dominant force in coming back, and Pacquiao has performed well in fights like the Broner fight, we now see it as a more even proposition. If Keith Thurman fights the fight like he has been fighting in the last several, where he is purely a boxer, it gives Manny Pacquiao, I think, a chance in this fight because he's become he can be at his best a volume puncher who can come forward and win rounds with volume. But if Thurman is able to set down on his punches and stop and use his power a little bit, I mean, he should be, if you think about it, he should be the hardest puncher that Manny Pacquiao's ever faced, right? He's a true welterweight, a big, strong welterweight who had a lot of power and showed it in his career. So I think at some point, Keith Thurman's going to need to use that power against Pacquiao. So I think those are the two different kind of fights that could happen. Which one will? It's a good question.
What would you say Pacquiao's at now in his fight with Broner in comparison to when he was on top against Cotto and Hatton and those?
Well, he's a different fighter. He's 40 years old. So, you know, you'll see him sometimes get more off balance and sometimes not be able to throw the volume punches that he did before. So he's not quite that same fighter. But for a 40-year-old, based on that last performance, and really, he's only had like one really subpar performance, and that was down in Australia when he really didn't look good at all. But other than that, he hasn't had really, even in his late 30s, hasn't had a lot of bad performances. So you know, it's for a 40-year-old, he's pretty extraordinary.
Let's say the Pacquiao that fought Broner shows up and the Thurman that fought Sean Porter shows up. Who wins that fight? If those are the versions.
The Pacquiao that fought who?
Broner.
And the one that fought Porter. Well, against Porter, Thurman it's more the Thurman, that maybe fought in the last fight. If Pacquiao can be the same way he was against Broner, and Thurman doesn't engage him enough and just wants to box, Pacquiao has a chance to win.
What's your breakdown of Pacquiao versus Thurman?
I think that Pacquiao is right now, even at his age, really difficult to beat. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't think that Thurman is gonna have enough for Pacquiao. We saw what Josecito Lopez did with under the guidance of Eduardo Garcia and Robert Garcia.
Yeah.
And we saw that, you know, almost knocking out Thurman. And we know that, you know, Josecito Lopez isn't a 100% power puncher, but I think that Pacquiao is a lot stronger of a puncher and quicker, and he's a southpaw, that has a lot of movement and a lot of great pressure. So it's gonna be a tough one, I think.
How do you think the Keith Thurman Manny Pacquiao fight can turn out?
Man, I think that honestly, Keith Thurman, with his youth and his age, I mean, a 41-year-old Manny, I just don't see it. But you never know, man. Manny Pacquiao is one of those freaks of nature that has just defied the odds time and time again. So you never really know. It just really depends on that night, because at that age, you know, you never know when your last fight is, you know, when your last good fight is. But Keith Thurman, I think, now having had that Josecito fight, I know a lot of people look past him because of that bad performance, or not bad, but not 100% performance against Josecito, but it was understandable with the 2-year layoff. I think now that he's actually fought and he's actually been active, I think that he will perform a lot better against Manny Pacquiao.
Now we have a big super fight between Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. Who do you have winning in that fight, and how do you think that fight would play out?
Now that's a good one, because it depends on who does what. If Thurman performs like he has been performing lately, Pacquiao could and should win. But if Thurman fights like we had expected him to from way back when, then I think that he will be the victor.
What do you think about the Pacquiao Thurman, if that's made? What are your thoughts on that?
Why not?
The outcome.
Why not? Why not? Man, bring it. You know what I mean? I think it'll definitely rise Thurman's game, and also Pacquiao's game. Is he ready now? Yeah, why not? Right now, 40-year-old Pacquiao, man. Like I told you, Thurman. I'm Thurman, man. You know, Thurman has punching power that will keep Pacquiao honest. Will keep him honest. Thurman is smart. He got good speed. He's bigger than Pacquiao. He'll be able to bully him in the inside. You know what I mean? He'll be able to take a punch pretty well and recover. He's smart enough to move and know when to move and when not to. You know, there's a lot to Thurman, man. You know, I think he's one of the best best middleweight, welterweights out there, man.
I just want to talk about somebody who's fighting at the moment, Manny Pacquiao, fighting Keith Thurman. Fight's been announced. Just want to firstly talk about Manny Pacquiao. He's been through a lot of fights. Now, if you talk about the fights that he's been through, you look at the Barrera Morales fights, you look at even the Mayweather, Cotto, Margaritos. He's been through a lot of eras of different fighters, and he's still fighting. What do you make of him as a fighter?
Again, Manny Pacquiao is a Hall of Famer times two. I was speaking about him the other day. I met a Philippine woman that works in a Jamaican shop. I was getting my Caribbean food. She's Philippine, and she was just like, she loves Manny Pacquiao. She loves him. She's Philippine. She said she's been to the Philippines. She's met him, and she goes, he does look after he looks after the Philippines a lot of work, and he's like he's an idol over there. And in the boxing world as well, if you look at where he came from, if you look at his first two fights, he was fighting for no money. He was just fighting. He's someone that, again, you can say that he built from ground up. I think he didn't have a promoter when he first started. So again, he came through the hard way, went through so many weight classes. He's fought all the best people. He's won fights, he's lost fights, he's looked spectacular in fights. He's been in every situation you could think of. And again, he's someone that you need to commend for he's paid his dues to the sport. So again, people like myself, he's motivated me, same as other fighters have motivated me. And I always give respect and look up to people. Not look up to, I only look up to God, but I always give respect and pay homage to people like Manny Pacquiao.
Just give me your sort of thoughts on that fight then finally. Just Keith Thurman, who's somebody who's been out for a little while, came back against José Lopez, didn't look the best, and he admits it himself, but now he's in with Manny Pacquiao. Talk to me about that fight.
Again, but Manny Pacquiao is a serious fighter. He's a serious fighter. He has shown some vulnerabilities throughout his career, but it just depends what Manny Pacquiao shows up, and that's why again he's exciting. That's why everyone watches these fights. Keith Thurman, I think, is a very good fighter. He's explosive. Manny Pacquiao's not a joke though, man. He's not a joke. I feel like Manny Pacquiao is dangerous for any fighter still. Even in he's coming to the end of his career or whatever. The reason why he's still one of the most promoted fighters and all them kind of things is because he's so exciting, you know, and he's still extremely dangerous to anybody.
I don't know how old is he. I think about 40 or 40 odd.
I think he's 40 years old, yeah.
What do you see Pacquiao Thurman potentially playing?
I'm not going to say what I think about it, but I do think a particular way about it. But I go for the American fighter, right? But I think it's going to be a pretty interesting fight.
A former opponent, Manny Pacquiao, seems to still be going strong. He fought Adrian Broner last year. Looks like he's going to be fighting Keith Thurman. Talk to me about Manny Pacquiao and the career that he's had and the fact that he's still fighting quite strong.
Well, you know, he's unbelievable, really. You know, he obviously lives the life, looks after himself, so he's been able to keep going strong. He's been able to keep going strong and box at the same level. Maybe he's not the force he was a few years, but he's still good enough to get away with it and match with the people he's matching. So it's like anything, you know, as a boxing fan, even though he was a former opponent, you know, you take a lot of respect and a lot of credit to him for what he's done. But you know, like every champion and former champion we admire, we just hope he knows the right time when to get out, don't we? And but he's got good people around him, good family behind him, good team behind him, and I think they'll advise him which the right time is when that time comes. But at the minute, I think rock on, because he's looking far from out of his depth, and he's still looking well. Yeah.
I don't think Thurman at his best couldn't beat Garcia. Or I didn't think you couldn't do any damage to Danny Garcia. Garcia's a good fighter. What do you think Pacquiao's going to do?
I think he's going to knock him out.
That wasn't his best. He's been one fight against José Lopez in nearly 3 years. Hey, come on, dude. Wake up, you're going in against a AAA fighter, an elite level fighter, and you might be a AA, maybe.
You think he's going to get his ass whooped?
He should do with some of the stupid shit he said. It's fucking ridiculous. Why be like that? It's the sport, it's the business.
Right.
But you don't have to be offensive or just ignorant. No point.
Yeah, well, we'll see during the fight.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going to happen. All right, nice talking to you.
You know, you've been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. What's your overall thoughts on that fight?
I love that fight. I think the timing is great. I think Thurman's inactivity and Pacquiao's kind of resurgence and style lately, I think this makes this fight make a lot of sense. Maybe a few years ago when Thurman was being really active and fighting top guys, I didn't like this fight as much, but now it makes sense.
Now, with you sharing the ring with Amir Khan in the past, and then you've also been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, just a curiosity, if Terrence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao would happen based off Amir Khan's performance with Terrence Crawford, how would you size those two guys out and Manny Pacquiao?
I don't like to get into boxing math. You know, this guy fought this guy, and what happens? It doesn't really work that way. I would not want to see Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao fight. I think that a great champion and a legend like Pacquiao deserves better than that. You know, throwing him into young, hungry guys who are at the tip top of their game when he's not. He's not the same guy he was. Is he still a great fighter and a great champion? Yes. Is he the Manny Pacquiao of old? No. And I don't think it's fair to match him up with the pound-for-pound best at his height of his career. It's just not going to mean as much, and it might take away from Pacquiao.
How do you see this fight playing out?
One thing with Manny Pacquiao is, from what I see, is that Manny Pacquiao likes to start his offense with his lead hand. If you watch when he boxed Broner, when Broner controlled Manny Pacquiao's lead hand, Broner had success, you know, a lead right hand, a check left hook, and resetting Manny Pacquiao, where he'd have to start his offense again. And then like I say, he likes to start his offense with his front hand. When you take his front hand away, it gives yourself a better chance. And if you watch Mayweather beat Pacquiao, that's what he done there. So I think that's something for Keith Thurman to look out for. And it's an interesting fight, though. Is it done, that fight? Is it? It'll be an interesting fight. Keith Thurman is had a little time away from the sport, isn't he?
Well, he came back against Josecito Lopez about a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen that fight, but obviously I've been very busy. But that's something. Manny Pacquiao's a top fighter, but that's something that I would be looking at if I was working with Keith Thurman.
Pacquiao Thurman, what do you think about that fight?
I think Pacquiao, because he has more firepower. Thurman has that type of wild style, just slightly, and I'm starting to think he's dependent on that one punch a lot instead of just letting his hands go. And Pacquiao has power in both hands, and that comes with the speed. You see his legs the size of tree trunk, so the power is there. So I got Pacquiao on this one.
By decision or stoppage?
Decision. I don't think no one will get stopped this fight, but I could be wrong. It's boxing.
And how would you break that fight down between Manny Pacquiao and Thurman?
Action-packed, completely. Like, just from round one. I mean, they'll fill themselves out, but I think Keith is gonna let him know, I can be with you here, toe to toe, and he won't shy away from that. At least that's what we're all hoping. But he's gonna have to. I mean, Keith can't hold back because Pacquiao's not gonna hold back. I mean, going in, he's gonna make it fun, yeah. And he's gonna love that Keith is gonna try to go toe to toe with him. So, isn't he good?
Do you
hear me go?
Who do you?
Pacquiao. Is he winning? Pacquiao.
By decision.
Yeah.
So you believe he'll go the whole 12 rounds?
I think so. I think so. Keith is a great athlete. He's a great athlete. If he's not winning the cards, he's at least going to be like going and get knocked out.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think that's the mindset. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether he win the fight or lose the fight. He don't get backlash, period. Because if he wins the fight, then he beat a 40-year-old Pacquiao, not a prime Pacquiao. If he loses the fight, then it's like, oh, you can't even beat a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao. So he's doomed either way. But it's a great opportunity for him. I'm happy that he got the fight, and everybody's looking at that last fight of Thurman, first fight back, and everybody's like, oh, Pacquiao. Man, listen. When you fighting against a guy, a legend like Manny Pacquiao, you gonna get up for it. Please believe it. Thurman's a smart guy. He's very intellectual. He's very aware. He knows what he has to do and what he needs to be to beat a guy like Manny Pacquiao. So, I'm banking on Thurman to get the job done.
Now, I don't know if you heard his recent comments yet, real quick, but Thurman is already talking about even possibly retiring if you don't beat Pacquiao. What do you think a boxer's mindset is at that level when they're already thinking if one fight already determines their career?
Nah, that's just motivation. I think that he's trying to, pump himself up and just say like, hey, if I can't be the 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, then I don't belong in the ring. But truly believe it, if he loses the fight, if it's a close fight, Thurman's not retiring, man. Not at all. He's still a lot left. He still has a lot left in the tank to continue. So that's just a motivating tool and a motivating factor.
How would you break down Thurman versus Pacquiao? Pacquiao versus Thurman, my apologies.
It's just, Pacquiao is a legend, and I would hate to see him go out and get demolished, and Keith Thurman is somebody that can do it. Will he do it? I don't know, but Pacquiao, his age is showing, basically, his last fight, what he fought Broner, right? His last fight was Broner.
Was Broner, yes.
He beat Broner, but he didn't look like too much. He looking slow. Of course, he's still faster than most people because he's Pacquiao, but he's looking slower.
Which is funny that you said that. He's still faster than most people.
Yeah, because he's Pacquiao. He's still, the only 8th division world champion in the history of the sport. He's still Manny Pacquiao. But like I said, at the same time, against Broner, he didn't look good. He ain't been looking good for a lot of fights. Against Jeff Horn, against Broner. Who else he fought before that? I forgot, but he haven't been looking good. It's the age, nobody beats Father Time. Everybody's gonna always lose to Father Time, with that, and Keith Thurman's young, he's strong, undefeated, he's hungry.
But how did you think Thurman's last fight was? Did you? I'm sure you watched it.
I didn't. I didn't watch it. I heard about it. I watched highlights and stuff like that.
Of course, no. I mean,
but I saw he got rocked and all that type of stuff. But that was a comeback. That was a comeback fight.
Okay, so you think that really plays like a huge difference into it?
He ain't been in the ring in so long, so it's you can always judge it, but at the same time you really can't judge it, because that was just that was a comeback. Yeah, you hear that, right? I'm not saying I'm not getting in trouble by the president, but the music is saying fuck Donald Trump. I'm not getting in trouble by the president.
Oh man, I know, right?
Yeah,
Gotta be
say fuck Donald Trump, but that's the music in here. But yeah, so.
Oh, they changed it.
Yeah, they made sure they changed that.
I was like, that just got dangerous real quick up in here. Well, and you yourself, you're a boxer, so I'm sure it's different. You know how to really gauge it. Because, although from the sounds of it, you are constantly active.
But being in the gym and being in the ring is totally different things. Yeah, you can work. The bags don't hit back. So all this stuff I'm doing with the bag's not gonna hit me back. Especially not with no 8-ounce gloves on. So you can practice and you can work, but it's a live opponent. The bag is not a live opponent. So when you get there with a live opponent, it's always different. But yeah, like I said, with Thurman, I just thought his layoff, that long layoff, just he was a little rusty, but I just think against Pacquiao, he won't be like that. I think Pacquiao can still win, of course, because he's Pacquiao.
Yeah,
and he's been legend, and he's been hit by way bigger punches than Thurman. He's been hit by Cotto, and he barely got hit by Haddon. But we're talking about people like Margarito and Clottey, and he fought all those big names, and he destroyed them. He ran through them. Even somebody like De La Hoya, he ran through all them. But he's not the Pacquiao. He's not the same Pacquiao no more. So I just think that I just don't want to see him get hurt. I think he can win, but at the same time, he's 40 now, and we all know what happens. When an old man they start getting in the ring. I think Keith Thurman's like 30 or something like that. I don't know, 31, 30. I don't know how old he is, but he's way younger than Pacquiao, like 10 years difference or something, almost a 10 year difference. So yeah, I just don't want to see Pacquiao get hurt. But sometimes that might be the best thing for him. You never know, because sometimes, like when Ray Leonard came back.
50-50 then?
No, I'm not 50-50. No, I think he can win, but I'm more for Thurman.
You're more for Thurman.
I'm definitely more for Thurman. I would like to see Pacquiao win, but at the same time, I'm ready for him to retire. I think he should retire because, of course, if he beats Thurman, if he has a hard fight with Thurman, he beats him, and he takes big punches from Thurman, that might do something to him in the long run.
So you're talking about health-wise.
Health-wise, yeah, health-wise. I'm talking
you're
about
saying
health-wise
it might be wiser just for you just to chill.
It might be wiser. It might be a good thing if he gets beat and gets beat fast, because he'll retire. If he loses, if Pacquiao loses and it's a close fight, he gonna think, oh, I still got it. And then he'll have to fight somebody like like somebody else, like they won't make the Crawford fight because it's different promoters, but he might have to fight like a Sean Ford or Errol Spence.
You got Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao. I should have said it the other way around, because Pacquiao's the A side.
Yeah.
What do you think about that fight? What's your predictions on that?
I think that could be an interesting fight. Pacquiao's speed is just so incredible, but you always have to wonder where his focus is because he's got a lot of other things on his plate. I don't think it's bad for other people to have multiple things on their plate. It's just a matter of, is it going to affect their boxing capabilities? And so I would love to see that fight. Pacquiao always is very willing to fight and therefore leaving himself vulnerable. So there can always be something that can be snuck in on Pacquiao. He has never changed his style as far as that's concerned. So I think it'd be a great fight.
Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao. Do you have a prediction in that fight?
I wouldn't want to comment on that. And Manny is so good. He's been out for a long time. He last fight wasn't looking impressive as and you see Manny Pacquiao. Even though he's home, but man, the footwork, the speed is still there. So man, I can't really say anything to that. But I mean, the best man win on the night.
This is the biggest fight of his life. It's the biggest fight of my life. It's the biggest fight of all our lives that are involved with Keith. Manny Pacquiao is a force in the division. He's a very good boxer. Quick hands, quick feet. But come fight night, Keith Thurman will prevail. I think the biggest weakness for Manny Pacquiao right now is fighting Keith Thurman. He's never faced power. He's never faced the movement. He's never faced a ferocious fighter like Keith Thurman. He's always, in the limelight and a great fighter. But the opponent really makes the fight. And we have an opponent here that is world famous, brings another country, is a great, great fighter. So I think that's what makes this fight a mega fight.
Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao. Dwayne, give me your prediction for that fight.
I'm just going to go with my heart because I prefer Manny Pacquiao. I don't like. There's something about Thurman. I'm not sure about him. He's got that kind of, like talking in third person. I don't know. Like he's a superhero on the slide.
He's a bad man.
Yeah, I think I just need it, and that's the pure reason. Forgetting about anything technical and skills and what I know about boxing, I just want Pacquiao to win. I don't care how it happens.
And I'm going to tell you, Pacquiao's going sleep. Sleep. Listen to me. One time, he's going to slump at your man Pacquiao and just go back to the Senate.
Did you see his last fight?
I was there.
One time looked terrible.
Listen. He had an injury and come off. Luckily, he fought before, but check this. Stars makes fight again. Hopefully he'll come in there. We're going to see. The Senator Pacquiao, he's done great for boxing. He's come in the Philippines and done all that well. But I just believe the younger, hungrier, stronger guy, he should do the damage. It's not impossible. I'm not going to say he can't win, but I feel my man there, one time, Thurman, is going to do the damage. He knows how to move. He can box. But what it is Pacquiao's a finisher. Some of the guys that have troubled Thurman in the past, they didn't know how to finish. If Pacquiao hurts him, he's going to finish. But I think he must have learned and gained his experience from there. And I think I'm going to go with
It's a good one because Pacquiao, even though he's great, he does loads of things wrong, like textbook wrong. So if he can be exploited, it'd be a good one. But I just want Pacquiao to do it.
Today, we're both pumped up. Thurman is on fire. Pacquiao's on fire. What do you think?
I think Thurman is underestimating Manny. I think that I understand that there's always a changing of the guard in boxing, but based on their last performances, I'm not sure that Thurman is going to be able to do to Manny what he thinks he's going to be able to do. I think he's expecting a guy whose reflexes have disappeared. He's expecting a guy who, he mentioned ring IQ. Like, you can't be serious, me. This is Manny Pacquiao. You talking to me about ring IQ? Really? So I respect Keith. I got tremendous respect for Keith. If I see him, I'm gonna give him a pound and give him love. But I think Manny's gonna win by the.
Which one, Pacquiao or Thurman?
Wow. How much has he got left? That's the biggest question. If he's got a lot left, then I'm going with Pacquiao. But if he's jaded in any way, shape or form, he's probably going to get hurt. So I hope he's not, because he's a brilliant fighter. But I also like Thurman's quality too. So.
It was fireworks. What do you think of that fight? Pacquiao's flying.
Listen, anything Manny's involved in, I just
because of contracts now. I'm not going to be introducing him, but I mean every time I ever got to introduce him, great Filipino fans, his crowd and his fan base is awesome, and he's a Hall of Fame legend. Period. Case closed. First ballot.
This will be his 71st fight. I think we will not see another fighter in a long, long time fight 71 pro fights and at that level.
Yeah, exactly. At that level. Stars today are locked into TV contracts, and if they fight 3 times a year, that's a miracle. Usually it's 2 times.
How would you break down Thurman versus Pacquiao? Pacquiao versus Thurman, my apologies.
It's just, Pacquiao is a legend, and I would hate to see him go out and get demolished. And Keith Thurman is somebody that can do it. Will he do it? I don't know. But Pacquiao, his age is showing, basically. His last fight, what he fought Broner, right? His last fight was Broner.
Was Broner, yes.
He beat Broner, but he didn't look like too much. He looking slow. Of course, he's still faster than most people because he's Pacquiao, but he's looking slower.
Which is funny that you said that. He's still faster than most people.
Yeah, because he's Pacquiao. He's still, the only 8th division world champion in the history of the sport. He's still Manny Pacquiao. But like I said, at the same time, against Broner, he didn't look good. He ain't been looking good for a lot of fights. Against Jeff Horn, against Broner. Who else he fought before that? I forgot. But he haven't been looking good. It's the age. Nobody beats Father Time. Everybody's gonna always lose to Father Time. With that. And Keith Thurman's young, he's strong, undefeated, he's hungry.
But how did you think Thurman's last fight was? Did you? I'm sure you watched it.
I didn't. I didn't watch it. I heard about it. I watched highlights and stuff like that.
Of course, no. I mean,
but I saw he got rocked and all that type of stuff. But that was a comeback. That was a comeback fight.
Give me your breakdown of Pacquiao Thurman.
Pacquiao.
You know Pacquiao.
I'm going to go with Pacquiao. I'm going to go with Pacquiao. Yes, he's the older guy, but man, he's like an energy bunny, man. He's still not done yet. We've seen his lot too. I think my money is on.
Are we blocking him?
My money is on Pacquiao.
You fought Manny Pacquiao. He's fighting Keith Thurman. You were supposed to fight Thurman in the past. What did you
never.
Yeah,
I was
you
never
remember
supposed to
one
fight
time you used to make fun of his accent?
They never told me I was gonna fight him, but yes, I know what you're talking about. But hey, that was a big good fight. That was a really good fight. I think Pacquiao beats him because the fact that Thurman hasn't been active and he's pretty got out of his shoulders, and how would his shoulders do up to Pacquiao's speed and everything. So I got Pacquiao the edge.
When you fought Manny, you told me he had 8 hands.
Motherfucker, guys, he's quick, but he slowed down a lot though, so I can't say no more.
So he has 4 now.
I say he probably has
like 4 or 5. Yeah.
I think he has like 3 or 2. He's back to normal.
Bo-Mac, before I let you go, I gotta get your thoughts on the big fight next month. Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, they're gonna fight right here in this arena.
Thurman gonna beat the shit out of Pacquiao.
You got a lot of people who I hear you, but you got a lot of people who know boxing saying I think Manny's gonna pull this out.
No man, Keith got that rust off and shit. He got the rust off. So I think Keith it's just the youth gonna come in. The youth gonna come in. Manny gonna get old that way. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's just my own opinion. But Kavlovsky, I'm sorry. You're gonna get your ass whooped.
But with Keith, you see it kind of like Tyson Fury. He had his 2 fights where people say, man, he's not looking that good. But then once the big one got signed, we saw the old Tyson Fury. That's kind of how you see it with Keith and in that Pacquiao fight. Because people, they're looking at the Josecito Lopez fight.
Well, look, listen. Like I said before, he got the rust off, and then he gonna come back because I'm sure he listens to the critics. I'm sure he's reading those articles and shit. I'm sure he's been back in the gym and shit. He's gonna come out and he gonna dust the shit out of fucking Manny. Man, gonna get old overnight. That 40-year-old, 41-year-old gonna come into play.
You've been through so many eras. One guy you haven't fought yet is Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
He's fighting Keith Thurman. Break down that fight and then tell me about you and Pacquiao.
I think that Pacquiao goes in there and he beats Keith Thurman. I think he's too fast. I think that once he get Thurman in there and get him swinging wild and shit like that, he's gonna capitalize off of the mistakes that Keith Thurman does. I think at the end of the day, Keith Thurman's gonna be just like another fighter to come in there at the end and tell you how fast Manny Pacquiao was. And I don't know, for years and years and years and years, you know, people always said Manny Pacquiao, Zab Judah is an excellent matchup. I think with him being 40 years old and me being 41 years old right now, it's the perfect timing. You know what I'm saying? You know, as people can know, as far as, you know, talking about left-handers, I'm a left-hander, he's a left-hander. I came up sparring Pernell Whitaker. You know, I was 15 years old when I went in there. Pernell Whitaker was known as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of that generation at that time, and you know what I'm saying. You know, I learned from the master. You know what I'm saying. So to fight a southpaw, I have the recipe, and yeah, I think the Manny Pacquiao and Zab Super Judah possesses a great opportunity and a great matchup.
Pay-per-view, big one.
Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. We have a really good relationship with Keith.
Yeah, that's my guy.
How do you see that fight going out? And
I believe if Keith comes in like he knows how to come in, if he comes in shape, which it looks like he is, I've been watching him, and it looks like this is probably one of the toughest training camps he's ever had. If he comes in that Keith Thurman that we know that he knows how to come in, yeah, I see him pulling it out.
Would you say at that point, if Keith Thurman would beat Pacquiao, that he would be the top dog in welterweight, or would we have to go through Crawford and Spence?
Yeah, I believe it's some really.
Or even Sean.
Yeah, I believe it's some really. You know, Sean champions at 47. I mean, you know, Pacquiao, of course, you know, he's a Hall of Famer. You know, but he is 40, 42 years old. You know, we have some young bulls in the division, man, that and he's gonna have to probably knock down to see to claim the number one spot.
You're a person that keeps it real. Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman. What goes through your mind?
I got Manny Pacquiao.
Why?
Why? I feel like, honestly, to be honest and to be real, I don't think Keith Thurman deserves to hold that belt any much longer. He has been off for 2 years or so, and he's honestly just killing the 147-pound division. And it's his fault that everything's been, I mean, it's stacked. It's a stacked division, but nobody's really gained that opportunity with the, what does he have, the WBA title?
Super champion, yep.
Super champion. Dude, you're messing it up, man. And I think Manny Pacquiao deserves it now, and I think that he's going to take it, man. Take it by storm.
That's a good fight, man. You got an older Pacquiao who's gonna be there a little bit more than he normally is. And you got a Thurman who, you know, he got a lot to prove. You got some people, you know, speaking down on him, saying he's ducking Spence. I'm not gonna get involved in whether he's ducking him or not, but that's what a lot of people are saying. Didn't really look great his last fight, so he got a lot to fight for. And you know, beating Manny Pacquiao, that's like winning 4 or 5 regular fights.
That's true.
Just from that win right there, having that name on your resume.
And also, what you think about the winner of that maybe going against Terrence Crawford instead of?
Man, I'm trying to see any of them mix it up. I'm not picky. There's a lot of great guys at 47, so I get the timing thing. I know guys are trying to position themselves financially, do that, but at some point in time, man, y'all got to mix it up. Straight up.
In a couple of weeks, we see Keith Thurman fighting Manny Pacquiao. How does that fight play out for you, and who wins that fight?
I'm a fan of both. But something about Thurman that would scare me. You know, if I was Pacquiao, I think he's such a good fighter. You know, he hits so hard. So, but the Pacquiao team are clever. You know, Freddie Roach is clever. Don't think they'll take fights that they don't need to take. But I think Thurman beats him.
Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman. What's your assessment?
Man, that's a tough fight. Pacquiao looked good in his last fight. Thurman didn't look that good, but I got Thurman. I think Thurman should beat him.
That's your dad. Your dad told me the same thing.
Yeah. See. Okay. Well, great. Because great minds think alike.
You may be in the line to face Keith Thurman or the winner of that fight. How do you think the Keith Thurman Manny Pacquiao fight can turn out?
Man, I think that honestly, Keith Thurman, with his youth and his age, I mean, a 41-year-old Manny, I just don't see it. But you never know, man. Manny Pacquiao is one of those freaks of nature that has just defied the odds time and time again. So you never really know. It just really depends on that night, because at that age, you know, you never know when your last fight is. You know, when your last good fight is. But Keith Thurman, I think now having had that Josecito fight, I know a lot of people look past him because of that bad performance, or not bad, but not 100% performance against Josecito, but it was understandable with the 2-year layoff. I think now that he's actually fought and he's actually been active, I think that he will perform a lot better against Manny Pacquiao.
All right, Pacquiao Thurman, what do you think about that fight?
I think Pacquiao, because he has more firepower. Thurman has that type of wild style, just slightly, and I'm starting to think he's dependent on that one punch a lot instead of just letting his hands go. And Pacquiao has power in both hands, and that comes with the speed. We see his legs the size of tree trunk, so the power is there. So I got Pacquiao on this one.
Next month, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, they're going to fight right here in this arena.
Thurman going to beat the shit out of Pacquiao. You got a lot. 40-year-old, 41-year-old going to come into play.
Because Manny gets off balance when he counter puncher.
Timing. Timing. I promise you that. But got the best timing in the business right now. With the time he knocked him out like Marquez knocked him out.
Look, Pacquiao's a warrior. Pacquiao has fought everybody. He's got hard. He wants to fight the best, and that just got to give respect to him because he could have easily defended his title against somebody else. Pacquiao fights anybody, and he's already done it so many times. He's moved up to super welterweight and dominated there too. So Pacquiao's the real deal, because he's 40 doesn't mean he's afraid. He wants to fight the best.
He's Pacquiao Thurman. What do you think about that fight?
It's one heck of a fight, man. I like both, but I'm dear friends with Manny Pacquiao. Non-biased, my opinion, I think Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, not to sound rude, and no offense to my boy, but Keith Thurman, but I don't see him winning.
Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao.
Sure how I don't think he'll be the same after that punch that hurt him in the.
Who do you think is gonna win?
I'd have to lean over to Pacquiao side, but Thurman's a good fighter, so I think he can give him trouble.
Pacquiao Thurman. Pacquiao's 40, 71st fight. Thurman 29-0, 23 knockouts. What do you think?
You know what? Boxing's unpredictable. It really, really is. And even though there's a favorite, there's also a chance of something happening. But that's a fight that I would watch.
Pacquiao, Thurman. Thurman's been talking.
Pacquiao's 40 years old. I still think he has a lot to give. You never know, you guy can get old overnight, but I haven't seen that. He's been looking really sharp in his last couple fights. Like you said, Keith Thurman has good power, and he's got great feet, got good footwork. Pacquiao's just a difficult guy to get prepared for because there's no one like him. There's no sparring like him. So he's got to go out there and be himself and make adjustments as he goes because you're always going to be adjusting with Manny Pacquiao.
What are your thoughts? Pacquiao Thurman.
The boxing knowledge to definitely give Manny a good fight. I think he's got the power to hurt Manny. I think that Manny just has to, and Freddie, they have to come up with the right game plan. I think Manny's got all the tools to beat Keith Thurman. It matters him using his speed and his quickness and letting the rounds go by. I think Manny can win rounds.